it's not really about necessarily how many likes or reshares or comments that you have. It's really about publishing great content and building, your fans, send out your tribe, attract your vibe, or send out your vibes, attract your tribe. But it doesn't need to be big. This is the
It
whole
does not need to be
Jeff Kelly
big.
thing, 1,000 true fans, right? Like, I mean, if you really had 1,000 people, like real people who are your raving fans on LinkedIn, you wouldn't need anything else. Like,
Correct.
I think
But
delete
when I see
people.
zero
Yeah.
and they have 100,000
Yeah,
and then
totally.
they're giving this advice, it's really hard to reconcile it. And then I
Totally.
didn't get a spot on the podcast.
No, oh no, that's too bad.
Yeah, that's what was funny because I said, here's the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to pit men versus women or whatever, but
Yeah.
what's interesting is they're the way of using LinkedIn in 2005.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm trying to express that people have gotten smarter with, and they're burned out by the sales techniques that they were positioning in these podcasts. And I spoke up and I said, if those people DM'd me the way they're telling people to do and how to act on LinkedIn, I said, I don't know how much longer that's going to work.
Right. Yeah.
I think people are getting burned out.
What will happen is people will start figuring out how to like reporting it. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So the problem is right now, I think, is that there's not an easy way to report that kind of like abuse, right? Where there's not.
You know what I found the best way to report? Not that, please don't do it to me. The best way to almost shut a person down is not to block, is not to report. It's to mark them as I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because the I don't know is very upsetting to LinkedIn, way more, it seems, than all the other ways you can block somebody. I don't know triggers LinkedIn to start to ratchet down their account as a spammer.
Right. Yeah.
All the other ways seem, but so don't mark me as I don't know.
No, I think you're probably right. Like it's still self-reporting just to say I don't know, but if you probably get enough of them, they probably start putting limits on your account, right?
The most people that have reached out to me to say, Judi, my account has been limited. Is after they've been marked I don't know. And I don't know how many people have to mark you as I don't know, but I've never heard from anyone for any other thing other than that.
Yeah. There's that section in block where it's I don't believe this is a real person too.
Maybe that triggers it too.
I bet you if you get a bunch of those, you will. And I do use that because I probably, and I do try to keep it cleaner now. I didn't when I first started because I didn't know the importance of it. Like I have way too many people in my network, but it's like I'm never going to go.
I agree.
I'm never going to be able to go through and clean it all up without like seriously committing to a full week of doing that. It seems really painful. There is a way.
There's not a way to go through, but what I did was I Googled how to mass unfollow every single person you're following. And so the only reason why you would do that, it doesn't mean you disconnected from them.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is you can slowly start to add back the people you really like to follow.
Right.
And naturally, you'll be able to slowly realize who you need to disconnect from.
Right.
But it's hard.
Well, you just won't see their stuff anymore in the newsfeed.
That is true.
At the end of the day. And I find already just based on my engagement that it's pretty accurate, right? That I don't need the following aspect of it too much, because if I'm not really engaging with that content, I don't really usually end up seeing it anyways. I can set it to obviously show the latest versus what they think I would engage with, but then it's, and most of those people too are not even posting. Like that's the reason why LinkedIn is so attractive right now, is that so few users are posting that those that do are getting incredible reach. And I think that fast forward 12, 24 months from now, that may not be available anymore, because it's like being on Twitter or Facebook or any of the other social networks that the newsfeed just goes by so quick. You get so few eyeballs on your stuff unless you're really, really, really great at what you do and have a really large following to begin with. But LinkedIn.
And that's why I think it's important to not only have your own hashtag on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
so you can stay. I think I have 80 people following my hashtag now. And to
Right.
me, those are the beginning of saying
Those are your true
those are true
fans.
fans.
Yeah. Those are
Like
your true
those
fans. You
are
got 80. Yeah.
real. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I also think you should focus in on the company LinkedIn page. So if you've
Right.
got yours, which I checked out, and, to at least start to realize that content on there is for those true fans. And then that way, the other cool thing about LinkedIn, and people talk about building your email list, and I'm not talking about scraping the emails and
Yeah.
adding them illegally,
Yeah.
but you don't, if you want to stay connected to people, I can go and see your email that you shared. I can find you on Twitter. The nice thing about LinkedIn is it lets you stay connected to people
Yeah.
in your network that you want to stay connected to.
Yeah. I think, like, so I think for the page, and if LinkedIn can actually get their paid network to some reasonable like price, like
Price.
it's so ridiculous what they're charging for the paid advertising that they're not actually attracting enough, because people go, shit, well, I can buy it for like one hundredth the price on Facebook. But
Yeah.
you can take your content that's on your page and run a sponsored ad on, and I think that what you do is you post your stuff, like you said, to your personal page, the stuff that does well, repost it to your company page, and then you can take that content and run sponsored ads on that amazing content to the exact audience that you want to be in front of. So the thing with the personal is it's not always the exact audience you want, but when you're running ads, it's definitely the exact audience you want. But if you're going to pay that price, at least make sure the content's already being received well. And then two, then you can repurpose it in an ad later on. It's a great little hack to kind of get your brand out there a little bit more on LinkedIn if that's important to you.
Yeah. So my number one thing this year, so 2018 was more of my year of hell yes. 2019 was more my year of locally connecting as much as I could.
Yeah.
So I spoke at an event last night that was a local event, and we did the find nearby so we could connect with everybody who was at the event on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And what I think is great about that, instead of getting overwhelmed by LinkedIn, turn around and think of every single person you just connected with at a conference and reach out. And that's a much better message to send. Even if you make one video that says, hey, it was great to see you at the event, name it, last night. And glad to connect with you more here on LinkedIn. Let me know if you ever have any questions, and, let's just start a conversation. Whatever message you want to send, but that is way better than, like you said, trying to mass connect or get all these connections around the world.
Yeah.
Literally, those people physically saw your face in person last night. And why wouldn't you want to turn around and continue that?
Yeah, no, it's again, it comes back to being human again, right? And having genuine conversations. So I think you're bang on about that. I think you can do that same hack that you just had about that is, as well as if you're publishing content, is you can do that with people who've liked your content as well as commented on your content. So a like and a comment then makes sense for you to go to a direct message. And again, the message needs to be, if you don't really have like value to add, then be clear that you just want to say, hey, I just want to say hello and thanks for, participating in my content. No need to reply, because I know how busy life is, right? Just want to say thanks.
I should make a GIF of myself doing like
yeah,
that.
totally. But all of a sudden people that's how you turn them into your super fans, right? So what you could do is you could go, thanks for liking or commenting, right? Really appreciate it. No need to reply, but if you want to see my most recent stuff, subscribe to my hashtag, Judi Fox.
Yeah.
Right?